Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. Last video we made it all the way up to the 8th floor of the Temple of Time when we were about to unlock this door to see what's in the final room on the very top of the tower. A big, dark, ominous, empty-looking room with the door closing behind us. Seems like a pretty recognizable pattern. There's really nothing in here, although it looks like that is our statue friend that we're looking for. I don't know who this guy is, though. Whoever he is, though, he is clearly not friendly. Alright, so I am 100% totally blanking on their name. I should know this, but I really don't right now at the moment. Basically, all the big armored enemies where you get all of their armor off. So for this first stage, what you should be doing is using your shield for shield bash, and then use a helm splitter when the buttons prompt you. For some reason, it's not prompting me though, so it did there. So there we go. That's usually the best method if you can actually get the buttons to prompt, because you need to work on getting all this guy's armor off. When you finally get his armor off, you will now see that he is a whole hell of a lot faster. This enemy, by the way, now I just remembered, I think is the Dark Knight, I think is their name, right? Yeah. When he's in this stage, he's really fast, so what I recommend doing is using the backslice. You don't always necessarily get damage on him, but you will stun him, and then you'll be able to get a bunch of regular attacks in on him to kind of open up his defenses. So he's actually a really easy enemy to defeat. You just need to have a strategy. So I would say shield attack with the helm splitter until you get the armor off, and then a backslice. I love the backslice, it works so well. The Dark Knight's another new enemy in this game. So, yay! More new enemies! And since that was presumably our mini-boss, it looks like we're also going to be getting our dungeon item. I cannot wait to see what it is. This is what is called the Dominion Rod. This amazing rod can infuse ancient statues with life. So you can aim it and use it to give light and life to statues. A statue brought to life will move like its master. So this is the main reason that this temple really reminds me of Wind Waker, because this whole statue is, this whole temple is based around commanding statues. We don't have the command melody, we do have the Dominion Rod, which also acts as a rod to command statues. So if you aim the rod, you will infuse the statue with life, and it will move. Now, the important thing to remember about the Dominion Rod is, like it said when I picked the item up, this statue will move exactly how Link moves. So, this guy also, I guess I'm trying to move, but I guess I'm up against a wall. Since he's green, you can sync him up to go into the green bells, which is how he transfers. You cannot move statues through doors, and they cannot jump or anything like that. You can only walk with them, and you can also attack with them. So to get them to go to the next room, you need to use the bells. The statue is also marked with the big red dot on the map. So he's easy to find because the big red dot on the map is certainly not hard to spot. So use the button you have the Dominion Rod set to command him, and then if you use the same button that the Dominion Rod is set on, you will also attack. And he can destroy enemies, gates, obstacles. So the whole premise of this dungeon is to, first of all, go up the temple to get the statue, and now we are going to be leading him all the way down from where we came from. So we have to go back down all 8 floors, unfortunately, but it's still a pretty short temple. This really doesn't take very long, so I'm gonna get him to stand on that switch for me, and then I can go ahead and walk across to get get away from that electrical fence. I think you can also destroy these guys as well. Yes, you can. If you don't want to destroy them, what you can do is you can also just use his body as a shield. So if the obstacle runs into the statue, since it's metal, it'll kind of like clang off him and it won't cause you any sort of damage. So depending on how you use this statue, you are pretty unstoppable, honestly. Even these like big annoying saw blade things, you can destroy them. I think even just the shockwave of your weapon really does the trick on destroying every single one of them. Beamos, like absolutely everything you can just take care of, like no problems whatsoever. So for some reason I always have really hard times with this specific puzzle. I need to get him onto that switch while I'm standing on this switch to make it rise, and then he can go onto the switch. Now what is also really kind of unique, and I might actually do this because it's a lot simpler, is I might control the littler statues. So you can also control the little statues, which as you can imagine is going to be very, very useful in this dungeon. So you can either get Link to stand on this switch and get the statue to stand over there, or if you want to be a little more creative, you can go ahead and you can do that. And then you can command this guy over here to rise the statue up. You don't also have to like aim the Dominion Rod by holding it down. Generally, if you swing the light in the direction of the statue, it usually lands where he lands, which is kind of nice. You don't have to be super precise with this rod. You can kind of fling it about at your leisure. So we're making some pretty good progress. I think we've already made it back down 3 or 4 different floors. Alright, so in this room, this is the scale room. So as you can imagine, this is going to be a lot of fun, excitement, yay, because Link is the equivalent of 2 of these, and I do believe the big statue is the equivalent, I want to say, of 3 of these. So I think you need 5 statues in total to equal out Link and the statue's weight. So I'm gonna bring these 3 guys down, and I guess what I'll do is I'll throw all of the statues onto the other scale and transfer them. I don't know if there's a faster way to do this, but what I do is I always just make sure I have 5 of these little statues on one of the scales, and then I use Link to transfer the statue around. So I guess you could technically even have like 4 statues to equal out the weight of the bigger statue, but I like to have 5 just to be safe, because I'm not sure if it's 3 or if it's 4 per, like, I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4 statues for how much he weighs. I really don't know, honestly. Alright, so now that that's there, I can hop down back to where he is, and then I can also work on transferring all of these statues back, because now I'm going to have to go through the painful task of actually throwing all those statues back. So yeah, so like I said, there's not really, I've never really known another way to do this. I kind of just use these guys to weigh it out and then transfer the statue in the best way that I can. I do know that you can't like fling the statue off the side, like you couldn't walk off the edge and then the statue would walk off the edge. I really don't see that working. That doesn't seem like something that Zelda would allow, because that would just be like too easy, right? So 5 statues. Actually, it looks like we are actually too heavy, so you might need 6 statues, because as you can see, with the 2 of us on it, we're actually heavier, but if Link steps off, he's the equivalent to 2 statues, then that guy is actually lighter than the 5 statues. So it might be 4 statues for him, but there we go. Move him across there, and then all I have to do now is move these guys over here. And then I can just use Link to guide him over to the other side. So this is one of these puzzles that is, it's a little bit tedious and a little boring, because you're basically just doing the same thing over and over again, but oh well, it can't be avoided. it's kind of nice in a way that they put in these puzzles, because it does make you think. You kind of have to think about how much a Link weighs and how much the statue weighs and how you're going to get him across. So it's not all that bad. So there we go. And now, with my ultimate super awesome Dominion Rod, I can just transfer him over here. So, also really annoying though is if I'm too far away from the statue, it's really hard to control him because you move in the exact same direction as the statue moves. So, whee! And all that. So if I'm too far away from him, I find him really difficult to control. Or I should say, I should call it a dude. But anyways, yeah, I find it really hard to, like, control. The other way to destroy these spiders is obviously to come back down here with the statue and just wreak havoc on them. And just use the hammer. I think, as you can see, I'm, like, standing directly below the statue, and he can actually hit me. Which I think actually takes, like, a full heart of damage when I do hit myself. So I'm going to stop doing that now and, you know, stop messing around, because I've already killed all the spiders and gotten the treasure, so it's not really a big deal. But yeah, that's probably the easier way to destroy the spiders, and probably a little bit more fun than the way I did it. But I think killing stuff with the spinner is equally as fun. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Alright. So again, there's not much to say because we've already been in all of these rooms. However, this time around, it is a lot easier because you can actually use the statue to your advantage. So what I'll do is I will first of all move the switch so that, or hit the switch to move the wall rather, so that the wall is actually placed right in front of the statue. And I will show you how life allows you to take shortcuts. So the statue can just go ahead and destroy the wall like it's a piece of paper. He's just, you know, whatever, no big deal. Put him there so that we can get this chest. So you do need the statue for the chest, or you need the Dominion Rod so that you can get one of the other smaller statues on the other side to be used on the switch, either or. And that's our first piece of heart, so we still have one more piece of heart that we need to find in this dungeon. There we go. Before we are actually done with that collecting, so... Alright, Mr. Statue, you're doing very, very well. We are almost at the bottom. I think we're probably, if I had to guess looking at my map, I would say we are probably on the 4th or 5th floor. Now, how are we doing for time? Let me take a quick look. 12 minutes! Oh, I got tons of time. Alright, so, again, you don't even need to do the puzzle in this room. You can just, bam! Destroy that wall, and there's only one of them. That one wall does all 3 of the areas you move it to. So that's even better. So from this point on, it's pretty easy to get through here. We've done the majority of the longer puzzles that are really quite time-consuming. So now we are back in this big room. I showed you in the beginning when we came to this room, the top where the bell was. So he's up there. And let's see, I actually need to go back to that room that we were in before, across the hall. So I'm gonna do that and run into these saw blades because that's inevitable. Oh crap, but I need the statues. I completely forgot all about that. Getting way too ahead of myself. I guess I could use the big statue, but I think I'd rather actually, excuse me, use the smaller ones. I will, however, grab the big statue before leaving this room because I can't leave without him, so I guess I'll grab him now. And just allow him to kind of sit on the platform. Maybe I can actually get him to just destroy those stupid, annoying saw blade things that are a very inconvenient part of Link's life at this moment. At least when I'm controlling him, I think most people wouldn't have any troubles kind of getting around, but you know. So I'm going to leave my little statue friend there, and I'm going to grab my smaller statue friends. Of course, I went the extremely long way around. So I'm going to grab you, bring you over here. It's the same shenanigans as before. Place you there. And then, of course, the other statue's on the exact same place that it was before. We have to go down to the bottom where all those spiders are, so I guess we should probably do that. And yeah, I feel my commentary is getting repetitive at this point. I apologize. But I'm just determined to actually get this place done before I go to bed today, and this is actually my second time recording this, because I played through this before, and for some reason I was just really unhappy with it, so I'm actually re-recording this. So I guess it's a little different if you re-record something, because you already know what's going to happen, although I've played this game before, so it's not like I don't know what's going to happen or anything. And why does this keep happening? Am I getting too far in front of him or something? I guess that's what's happening, because I keep getting hit by his hammer, which I really don't mean to do. Or I keep stepping in front of him. Alright, I'm just a hazard to myself at this point. I'm going to destroy all these guys. Get them out of the way, because I do need to get that electrical fence kind of off so that I can cross that in just a little while here when I want to go back. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the statue on and go up one level to open up the door. And then of course you're going to put him in the exact same spot he was before. Put him on his little throne. Oh crap. And then of course if you are walking with the statues and you drop them, then prepare to be further annoyed, because you not only have to get back up, but you also have to pick the statue back up, so. Alright. So there we go. Back in this room, of course, we have something on our map that wasn't there before, now that we have the compass. So, next video, since this is now getting a little lengthy, I'll go ahead, I'll get whatever chest is in this room, and we will make it down further. We are pretty much at the halfway point, so we've only got a little bit more to go. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.